Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts on Machinist's updates in Dawntrail. Now, obviously, I've already provided thoughts on this based on my experience at the media tour, but that was a very limited scope, and now I've gotten to play it, of course, on the live servers. I felt what it's like to level from 90 to 100, play it at level 100 a little bit, and I want to share some updated thoughts on it. I've already leveled all three phys ranged, but for some reason, when I thought of which one I wanted to talk about first, Machinist popped up. Interesting. Now, quick spoiler warning, so you know what content I'm going to be showing on the screen. So if there's anything you want to avoid, then you know to click away. So what won't be here, the final main scenario dungeon is not going to be in this video, and neither of the EX trials are going to be here either. I am, however, going to be showing footage from various other dungeons, mostly the 91 to 99 leveling dungeons. I'm also going to be including footage of the new Stone Sky Sea equivalent, which takes place in Zone 5. Now, we already know what Zone 5 is. They've showed it to us in all of the media stuff, you know, whether it be live letters or screenshots. Like, it's not like a secret. It's not like a zone they've been hiding, but still, that doesn't mean everyone wants to see it. So this is just your fair warning now. So my TLDR for Machinist, I both really enjoyed at level 100 and am still mildly upset at some of the ways that it's designed. Now, the new tools round out the Endwalker kit fairly well, and the quality of life adjustments make for an even smoother playing experience for the most of us, because of course, similar to Endwalker Machinist, the ping-related concerns remain when it comes to hypercharge. I don't need to beat that into oblivion, but I have to mention it because I live on the west coast of the US, I play on the NA servers, and so my ping is like, 10 to 20. So most of the time, unless the game is really laggy for some reason, I don't have to deal with that. But I'm letting you know that if you have concerns with hypercharge, those are still going to be there. So that way we can move on from it. But the parts that I'm pleased about with Machinist don't really line up with the leveling experience, because realistically, my biggest complaint about Machinist hasn't been ping, it's been AoEing on the job just being unsatisfying and not really cohesive with the single target kit. I've said it a million times before, but every other job in the game has made steps to kind of tie together their single target and AoE rotations. And they have taken a few small steps forward to improve it, but it doesn't even feel like that was on purpose. It feels incidental to a sense. I mean, still, the robot's completely absent from your AoE rotation, flamethrower exists, bioblaster isn't really that exciting, nor is it a good reassemble target. And now there's an even more weird thing. You now do your single target hypercharge with Blazing Shot on any pull that's 4 targets or less. Now, strangely enough, there's not an insignificant number of those pulls, especially when you're leveling up. But you only auto crossbow at 5 or more because auto crossbow still doesn't reset Gauss and Ricochet, which are now double check and checkmate. Honestly, regardless of the size of the pull, I practically just want to do Blazing Shot into double check and checkmate, just because it's more engaging and it's more fun. Just make it work. Please just make auto crossbow reset the cooldowns like your single target does. I don't know why they're so hesitant about this. Or just add some other fun interaction. I don't know, like let me bioblaster the enemy and then flamethrower them to ignite it or something like that. I don't know. Just add something that makes it not feel like two different people designed this job simultaneously. One of them signed off on single target, one of them signed off on AoE, and the AoE guy went to get milk and never came back. And the single target guy just keeps adding a few things here or there just to hold us over. He'll come back one day and he's going to have that milk, but we won't know when. Anyway, let's get to talking about the single target part of Machinist. For me, it's still so crisp and clean. I look at hypercharge and how it feels in ideal circumstances. And since I get to play in those circumstances, ever since they've been doing it this way, I only have to acknowledge that it's awkward because of ping, but I don't feel it. So I get to kind of enjoy Machinist to its maximum. And here I really feel that still. I mean, animation updates to Heat Blast with Blazing Shot, as well as double check and checkmate off Gauss and Ricochet from what they were before. Those things don't fundamentally change the way the job plays, but it gives it that fresh new feeling. It's more exciting going through my hypercharge windows when I have these new abilities. I will say this, I do kind of miss the gun flick that you do with Heat Blast. Blazing Shot's a little more traditional, but I still like it, and I still like the impact of it, especially when, the whole thing gets moving. It's all so fast that I'm not really worried about it for very long. Another new thing is Excavator, which is the follow-up after Chainsaw. Now, it's proven to be far more for Machinist than just another follow-up, which has kind of been Dawntrail's thing. Granting additional battery gauge makes a robot in your opener possible, and ensures that you get a 100-point bot every minute. It's also another AoE tool to prep bots for bosses in dungeons. Like I said, a couple of steps forward, just nothing that I can really pat them on the back too much about. And Full Metal Field is just awesome. Big AoE, auto-direct crit, doesn't compete with reassemble uses, which I really appreciate. And because of the exact number of tool GCDs we have, between 2 drills, between Chainsaw and Excavator, between Air Anchor, Full Metal Field, like, you never have to use your basic 1, 2, 3 combo in your openers or reopeners pretty much ever. Now, I say that there might be some tech that, I don't know, maybe allows it. You know, I'm not trying to be on the cutting edge here of telling people how to play Machinist, but from my understanding, you don't. You basically just rotate through your tools in kind of the same order with a 2.5 GCD across every 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and you get 1 hypercharge in there. You can save a second hypercharge. I think if you're in a pot window in particular, that tends to be beneficial. But it's like it's streamlined, but not in an unfun way. Like, it's really good to get to go through all those tools and not have to worry too much about where your gauge is at and gauge generation, and you just kind of move through everything. And that's supported with the barrel stabilizer change to make it so instead of gaining 50 gauge from barrel stabilizer, you just get a free use of hypercharge, which is a change they made to most jobs. There's one job that I'll be talking about where they didn't do that, and it's very strange, but it just works out. Just the whole job just feels crisper and cleaner as long as you have that low ping. And even some high ping players are probably going to appreciate some of what they've done here, because you're also not hypercharging technically as much because you're using tools more, so you don't deal with the ping stuff as much. It's just you still have to deal with it during your burst, you know? And also, because you have so many tools and there's so many mixed and matched cooldowns, you know, 20 second with 2 charges on drill, you've got 40 seconds on air anchor, you've got 60 on chainsaw with excavator afterwards. Like, you incorporate those into your regular rotation pretty seamlessly. So, you know, you're 1, 2, 3ing a little bit less. You're getting to look forward to those bigger moments more frequently. And I don't know, it just all works. Like, I would love to raid on Machinist and see if this feels the same going through raids. Of course, if they throw in some ad phases, I may not feel the same way, because I'm still really, really torn about, you know, not liking the AoE portion of the rotation. But yeah, in general, I would learn that to be able to enjoy the rest of Machinist on bosses. Now, there is an elephant in the room, for me at least, and that of Wild Charge. I don't know about you. I just think Wild Charge is just still kind of lame. Like, the only version of Wild Charge to me that was ever not lame was when it used to stack up a percentage of the damage that you deal, and then it would explode for that. So you had to maximize the damage in the Wild Charge timing. But now with damage variance, that would probably be a bad idea, like a really bad idea to do nowadays, as much as I kind of love the idea at the same time. So, you know, I will say this, though. There is some silver lining with Wild Charge. In a game where we have so much damage variance nowadays, the fact that Wildfire cannot crit or direct hit almost becomes like, it's like a solace. Again, it's a silver lining that it has this damage consistency that's kind of in tune with a lot of Machinists. Machinist's damage variance is quite low comparative to a lot of other jobs. And again, that's helped with having 2 reassembles. That's helped with Wild Charge not being able to direct hit or crit. Full Metal Field being an auto crit direct hit. So there is that. And so I'm glad on that regard. But I still want Wild Charge to just feel better. You know, if it did auto direct crit, so like the number was bigger and I could get more excited, or if they just did something to make the explosion feel more exciting. It's just, I don't know, something, you know? Now, tie all of these fun bits together with having Tactician and Dismantle, which ever since they added Dismantle, Machinist has kind of been on my radar. And I honestly think we've just got a really solid fizz range. It's unfortunate that it seems the numbers on Machinist are not doing super great, not compared to the other fizz range at least. Now, I'd rather have a number problem than a fundamental flaw with the way the job plays, because at least it can feel good in most content. But when I go into week 1 rating, obviously that's a factor. I may want Machinist for its consistency, but I need to consider what that consistency looks like against the consistency of their fizz range. Like, I'm not just going to pick one job because I like it in this case. I'm going to be a little bit more flexible because the fizz range, are, it's very flavor of the monthy when it comes to that. But I feel like this is in a good spot where you can feel good about wanting to play Machinist as long as you don't mind a few of the quirkier things. And you're going to have some great tools. Again, I also think Machinist is the ideal party finder fizz range because it's so self-reliant. It doesn't have our DPS to worry about with the other jobs. And I think that really works out in their favor when you don't have a set group of people to play with. And I think that's going to continue to be the case here. So overall, really positive impressions for Machinist. I really, really want to rate as this job, this expansion, even if I know that the other ones are better, but I probably won't get that chance. Maybe after week 1, but if this gets buffs and this gets stronger, I'm telling you, you're going to see Machinist taps this expansion because I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. But anyway, if you've leveled Machinist, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section of the video below. Be sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned as I level all the jobs. I'll get these thoughts videoed out. I know people are asking if I have updated Pick the Answer thoughts, especially with their DPS numbers and all that. So I'm leveling stuff now. I'm doing the best that I can, but I'm also trying to multitask, get shared fates done, work towards my sugar glider mount. I've got MSQ to do still because I have to actually watch the cutscene. So there's a whole bunch of things. So I'm going to make sure that I get through all of that. You're going to have plenty of content on the channel in the next month. That I can promise you. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, take care.